Hey guys, I'm going to give everybody just a second to join. I'm going to turn my Christmas music, my AI Christmas music back up for a second. He loves it, getting me in the spirit.
I do love it. I do love Christmas music.
It's not even a real song. It's like I want to be a song, but I can't because a computer made me up.
This is what you hear when you call like a company and they like put you on hold for an hour.
This is what I heard. I would feel more happy, but I hear ding 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 ding, which makes me feel very sad and
Unhappy
in general. All right. Well, I guess I will turn my Christmas music off for the time being, just so we can talk and go through some things today. I'm super excited because last week we came. Was it last week? It was last week. Last Tuesday. We came on and we talked about kind of looking back just at the NNBA, like as its own entity for 24 and what's coming for 25. And I overlooked mentioning our super exciting new branding, which I was crushed about after we got off this live. I was like, that's the only thing I wanted to say was that we had new branding coming. I know the new branding I am super excited for. And we have an amazing VA who helps with the NNBA graphics and social media. And she gave us these unbelievable concepts for the new logo. And we feel like it's a great representation just of modern nurses in business and just where the NNBA is going and just how nurses really, I loved how the nurses is in a different font because it just really, the nurses sticks out. It's not just business, it's nurses in business that we're supporting. And so I really loved that. So if you don't know me, I'm Nina Hart. I'm president of the NNBA, and this is Casey Goff, my sister, and she is the NNBA member engagement coordinator. And I'm super glad to be talking to you guys today. And today we wanted to come and just talk about some nurse business trends. So this might be more beneficial for you if you're just considering starting a business because you're going to get some really solid business ideas out of this. But also, I think nurses in business really like to stay up to date with what's going on and what the opportunities are and what the trends are. So we're going to first look back on 2024 and what the top 5 big businesses for nurses that we saw were really booming, really doing well, had a lot of nurses going into this area. And then we're going to look at 2025. Did I say 2025 both times? We're going to look at
2024.
Great. And then we're going to look at 2025 and see what some of the predictions are. And I'm a little nervous because we're going to make some predictions that I don't know, Casey. I don't know if we're going to regret this come December of 2025. That totally wrong. You can blame me and ChatGPT. So I have no shame in saying that what I did was I made my own list. I made my list of 2024 and 2025 business trend predictions. And then I asked ChatGPT to tell me what it thought. And I will say it was pretty close. I would say, maybe not that close, like 60%. It came up with some weird things. And it also, I didn't like this, was really behind. Like it was more like trying to predict. It was almost exactly trying to predict the things for 2024 or 2025 that I was saying happened in 2024. So we just have our finger on the pulse of what nurses are doing. And so this information comes from us talking to hundreds of nurses over the last at least 3 years, but just this year, I know we've talked to, I was trying to count this up last night, how many nurses I've talked to about going into a business in 2024. Well over 100 if we don't count anybody in person at the NNBA conference that we talked to. So we've talked to a lot of nurses about what they're doing, what they want to do, how it's going. And so we're kind of using this information to develop these trends that we're bringing to you today, hot off the presses. One thing I did want to say, and Casey, you can kind of pitch in on this, but I think there's like this pressure to go all in with a business. And so when I look at these 2024 and 2025 trends that we're going to talk about, a lot of these are really great side hustles. I'm bringing this up because I'm throwing you out here in the center right to talk about this, but I know you have several side hustles that you've had for at least all 2024, if not much longer. I know you've had a couple for a long time, but just to kind of talk about how you think these could be integrated in different ways as we go, and what your thoughts are on starting things as a side hustle and how to kind of work that into a full-time job.
Yeah, so I started my first side hustle when I lost my job in 2022. Yeah, it's been 2 years. And basically, I just kind of connected on LinkedIn with a doctor that was looking for a remote office manager. And he was a psychiatrist. I have a bunch of psychiatry background. So I was like, hey, I'd be really interested in this. It turned out that he was looking for somebody for just a couple hours a week. So it was great to help me make it through the job search. And then I just kept doing it because it was stable, extra income. It gave me, I learned a lot of skills. I still do it. It's been 2 years, and it's been a really great way to make some extra money without having to like overwork myself or commit to like 3 full days a week or something. I can do it while I'm at the airport. I can do it while I'm in my bed. I can do it, off my phone, a lot of it. So it's been really great. It's I would really recommend that to anybody if you're wanting to kind of look a little bit, dip your toes into entrepreneurship, but you're not totally ready to jump all the way in. That's a great way, because now after 2 years, I'm looking at, adding more clients, and I kind of know what's expected, and I'm hoping that I can do entrepreneurship full time. And then also with you, I've been, contracting out work for a couple years with you just to help out in any way, to use my skills in nursing and sales and everything. So, I mean, it's been great. It's been a great way to make extra money without having to overcommit yourself.
I love that. And I think you really hit the nail on the head there, because, not everyone is just ready to jump into entrepreneurship for full time, or even that word entrepreneurship can be very intimidating. Like, I'm just not ready for that. And so I think side hustle has been a great way to like kind of warm people up into, working for yourself or being self-employed. And that is the perfect ease into our topic today, because the very first one for 2024 trends is independent contracting. And that's exactly what Casey was just talking about. So she independent contracts as a practice manager for a psychiatry practice, and she independent contracts for me. She's done marketing, she's done client management, account management. She's done, you name it, she's done it, like VA and personal assistant. Thank God for her. She can tolerate me. But executive assistant, she's done high level operation stuff with me, like strategy and planning. So, she's picked up those extra hours outside of her regular job as an LPN. So, independent contractor is our number one most increased trend that we've seen in 2024 for nurses, picking up something on the side, whether that would be, some of those things could be like providing support for an organization in some way, like some specialized support as an independent contractor that they couldn't do with an employee, or they didn't have the budget or the role for a full-time employee to do. So that could be education, that could be in-person, like training, and other types of like specialized clinical support. Those are great roles, especially if you're not ready to go full-time.
I also think it is so nice if you're someone like me. I mean, I'm still young and unmarried, and I can go anywhere and I can do anything. And it's like, I don't want to pick up another job that I have to be there for. So it's really been great for like my independence and flexibility. Like I said, if I need to do something and I'm at the airport, I can do it real quick. I don't have to go into that place, which some contracts you will. But that's been the best part of my side hustles, is being able to do them on my time and, in the comfort of wherever I want to be, whether it's Hawaii or I've moved 3 times since I've been with that doctor, and it's changed
Hasn't
nothing.
affected
So,
it at all. Yeah.
mhm.
I like that you bring that up, because one of the things about being an independent contractor is you choose your assignments. If they call and say, we need you on site and you can't do it, you say no. You're an independent contractor. You're not their employee, right? So you get to choose who you work with, what kind of work you do, when you do it, where you do it, how much you do it, if you do it. So you have complete control over your work, your rates, your schedule, everything. You completely own your work. And I love that about I do a lot of independent contractor things, mostly in the role of consulting, but some of them are just project based. There are a lot of project based independent contractors. The number two thing we've seen is a lot of agencies. So that could be a staffing agency, that could be a home health agency, a hospice agency, a home care, a care home, any kind of agency that provides a service. We're seeing a continued kind of stabilization in that area. I kind of thought post COVID, some of these staffing agencies would struggle, but it seems like for the most part, there's still a need for staffing agencies. Nurses are great. We have connections. We have other nurses who want extra hours, and it's a need. Staffing is still a crisis. I would dare say it's worse it's worse post COVID. People are burnt out and they're done with it and they're wanting to do something different. So I think these agencies for staffing are great. And I also think that the individualized model of the home care home, hospice, home health. I've worked with a lot of these small agency owners that are nurses. I just went and did an onsite in Indianapolis with a nurse who owns a home care, who's getting licensed as a home health agency. And this is a very high return. Now, it is a high commitment. You have to have money to put in and you have to have time to put in, but this is a high return business model. It's very lucrative. And nurses are great at this. They're great at managing patient care. That's what we do best, right? We manage the whole picture and don't get any credit for it, right? When you run your own agency, you're literally managing the plan of care for every patient you see. So I like the agency model. Coaching. Number 3 is coaching. I don't think coaching is going anywhere. I don't think we're going to see that change. Some of the more cool coaching models I see are nurse advocacy. So like licensure and board of nursing and almost like law, like defense advocacy. I see a lot of that. And I think that's a really good service and it's really needed because there's really, a lot of nurses feel like they don't have anywhere to turn when they get in a situation like that. So having another nurse there to support you is really amazing. And then functional medicine and holistic health. I have to bring that up because that is a huge, that in 2024, I saw more holistic and functional medicine nurses open practices than I can count. So that is going to be a huge area going into 2025 as well.
I actually think that's going to blow up more too, just because of the change of power and, RFK wanting to do all the stuff with the health. And obviously, like, that's going to affect everyone, not just, it's going to be something that goes to like the hospitals and the school systems and stuff. And I think it's really going to open some people's eyes. Even if you don't totally buy into it, I think it's going to affect you regardless. So I do think we're going to see more of that.
I agree. And I also think that, again, back to my post-COVID soapbox here, people are wanting to make different decisions now. Again, whether you agree with it or not, there is a huge amount of the public who lost trust in healthcare, including healthcare professionals who lost trust in the healthcare system in COVID, and they're ready for something different. They're ready to do something different. We've got your comments here, so if you want to tell us what your thoughts are, we'd love to see them. So drop your comments. We'll keep an eye on the chat and respond to any questions or any input you have. So the next thing is independent practice. So one of the trends that I'm excited about is seeing a lot of advanced practice nurses opening their own practice, especially in full practice authority states where they don't need a supervising physician, but also, here in Tennessee, I have friends who have opened practices who are doing telemedicine, telehealth, who have weight loss and GLP-1 inhibitor clinics, who have wellness and holistic clinics. It's just really cool to see this new model evolving where you have different options for your care. If you aren't happy with your lifelong experience of having a PCP who you check in with once a year and you just don't get the care you feel like you need, then you have different options now. I think that's really amazing. And I'm super excited to see that. And the last one is content creation and influencers, right? Nurse writers, that includes nurse writers, social media, content creation, course creation, digital content. I think that's been huge in 2024, a huge boom in 2024 of digital creators. And I think that's going to continue. I don't think that's going anywhere. But I love seeing that nurses are getting over the tech analysis paralysis and just doing it, right? We've seen everybody has a course now. I do think that's going to be something to really consider as you're developing digital content, how that's going to serve now, because there are so many options. You can get a course for everything. So hint, hint, it just means you're going to have to be super niche. So niche that it is like annoying, right? It can't just be education for nurses anymore. It can't just be nurse coaching anymore. It can't just be content about cooking anymore. It has to be, how to cook on a budget for diabetics, right? It has to be like so specific that the person knows that it's for them, because we're in such a crowded market online now. So those were our 2024 look back in nurse business trends. And now, drum roll, 2025. So I do think that consulting and independent contracting, if I put that in a little bundle, I am biased. I just fully disclosed that I am so biased. Hey, Deb, glad you're on here. Very niche. Yes, it's gonna be the way to go is going to be having super niche content. So 2025 trends that we're looking at. Number one, consulting is not going anywhere. Business consulting has been around for a long time, and nurses are just getting wind of it, that they're fully qualified to do it themselves. You don't need anything extra. There are no certifications, no degrees, nothing. LPNs can be a consultant, RNs can be a consultant, ASN, BSN, you can be a consultant. Non-nurses are consultants and have 6 and 7 figure businesses. Why can't we? We can. You don't have to have any degree, any special training. You're leveraging your expertise to solve a problem. So consulting's not going anywhere. I just want to, again, back on my soapbox here. I know a lot of nurses know about legal nurse consulting, and that is wonderful. I'm so glad that legal nurse consulting has brought a spotlight to consulting. But I also have to be the person that says there is more to consulting than just legal nurse consulting. I am a nurse consultant. I am not a legal nurse consultant. There's education consulting, safety consulting, process and quality consulting, limitless financial consulting, marketing consulting, sales consulting, growth consulting, limitless options for consulting above and beyond legal nurse consulting. If you're interested in law and being an expert witness, then legal nurse consulting may be a great fit for you. And if that's true, let me know. I'll connect you. We have amazing network of legal nurse consultants at the NNBA, including Lori Brown. And so, we've got members who are doing this very successfully. It's a very successful area. But I just want you to be aware that if that's not the niche for you, there are lots of other consulting niches. I am a consultant who does compliance and regulatory support. So you could do if you are good with surveys and knowing the laws and the regulations for your area, you might be a great compliance consultant. So consulting is number one. Number two, this is where me and ChatGPT did agree that AI and technology is going to continue to be a huge area where nurses are breaking into in different ways. ChatGPT actually suggested one I hated, which was, what was it? Virtual reality. So one of my Goldman Sachs cohort members, a person who was in my cohort in Goldman Sachs, he was creating VR sets for police and military to practice going in and neutralizing things and, not hurting people, and going in and in VR and being in these situations in VR. And so they had vests and they had sensors in it. Why did you pull your gun right then? Why did you stop right there? Why did you not, why did you not clear that area? Whatever it is, he was making these VR headsets to do the education modules and the course modules inside VR. I thought that was a really cool thing because, like dementia training, we smear Vaseline on their glasses, right? And put gloves on so you can't pick stuff with the Velcro, so you can't pick anything up and you can't see, right? And we're trying to simulate dementia, but there's going to be a VR simulation dementia training kit. If there's not one already, look for it, because these digital AI tools are huge. And I think they're going to continue to go that way. And that kind of leads right into the next one, which is like apps and other online services, telehealth services. I think these are going to continue to be huge. We've seen these in 2024 emerging. At the 2024 NNBA conference, we saw a nurse with Nurse Math app, which was like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, right? Because I was an operator and I was a vice president and had 30 locations for my hospices and could not figure out how to do a budget, right? Because I had never been trained that. So if I would have had the Nurse Math app, did someone say AI? And Drew is here. Perfect timing. Welcome. Yes, we did. So we think AI and tech are going to have a huge position in 2025. And I would love to hear more of your insights on that, Drew, because I bet you've got them. So it's absolutely going to be something that nurses can and should capitalize on. I think we just find these areas where we're like, hey, I like this. Hey, I'm good at this. Hey, I get this. And then we should be running with that. We should be implementing that into our business somehow. We should be incorporating those skills that we have into how we work. And then number 4 for 2025 trends is really something I love, and I know it's near and dear to your heart. If you want to talk a little bit about it too, is data analytics, predictive analytics, and metrics. When I was the utilization manager, I had 450 locations, and I had this data analyst who would combine all of this data for me, and he would put all this together, and then I would have to analyze it and say, okay, these branches need education, and these branches didn't follow the process, and these branches spent this much, and these branches used this many. And there are companies in healthcare that really need help with that. So I don't know if you want to share anything about that, Casey, and some of your insights on how that's going to be up and coming, or what your thoughts on how that could be implemented are.
Yeah, so I think what I love so much about data analytics, and to anyone watching, I am a nurse and have been practicing as one for 5 years, but I'm back in school for data analytics and user experience, partially because I just realized that bedside is not for me. I don't think it's sustainable. I work 16-hour shifts, and it just seems, unsustainable. But also because I love how it's very objective. I love how numbers, there's no obviously you have to analyze them, but if 50% of the people saw something and 50 didn't, that's just the truth. That's just the fact of it. There's no wondering who could have seen it, who couldn't have seen it. I like that you can improve operational efficiency. I think numbers are really important, and I think that honestly goes hand in hand with AI. And I wanted to say this when you were talking is, people that are afraid of AI right now need to leverage it, because if you aren't familiar with how data analytics works, ChatGPT is. Use that, input all your information, and have it analyze it for you. That way you have more of a narrowed focus instead of thinking well, maybe I need to focus on this. You can see this is what you need to focus on because this is the fact, this is the number. So I think I just like the objectivity of it. It's there's no taking it in any way other than it's fact.
Absolutely. I think that AI and data analytics are both going to really going to be in the forefront of healthcare in the next year, and definitely going forward. But in hospice, there is predictive analytics about when a patient needs to go from home health to hospice, when they're showing decline, when they're going to be transitioning towards death. We're required to see them more. So it's like there are even metrics that you can look at to say, okay, they had nausea today, add 1 point to the algorithm, right? So they're declining. Oh, they had increased anxiety for 3 days in a row, add 3 points to the algorithm to show that they're declining. They're having these symptoms. So these programs, these softwares that help us take these numbers, these objective numbers that nurses are recording, and make them into something that we can use to provide better care, to provide more accurate care and more accurate service. And even as a consultant, helping companies understand how to better use their metrics, right? I, as a consultant, see the gamut of companies who use no metrics at all. What's your budget? Don't have one. To we'll have to create a line item for that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we need an extra punch for the holiday party. Gonna have to create a line item for that. So I mean, we run the gamut of seeing how the opportunity is to leverage these things. And I think that for nurses, when we really understand that and we really see how that affects patient care, that application to practice is what we have that other people don't. And then the last one, anything else you want to add on that one?
No, I think that's...
Give you time to make sure I'm not looking over you. The last one I have on here, and I appreciate you bringing this to light, Casey, is peer support communities for nurses and healthcare workers in general. I think that we've both seen nurses creating spaces for each other. And I think there's a much bigger awareness now of the need for this collaborative community space. The NNBA is working on this as well for 2025, how to improve our community, how to improve our engagement and create a space for nurses in business where we can be together, grow from each other, benefit from each other, vent to each other, whatever it is, offer things to each other, meet each other's needs. But these peer support communities, both for mental health, for strategy, for all these different things. Teresa Sanderson's NIFTY program, NIFTY membership, is a peer support community for nurses. And so these are going to be huge for 2025 for how to bring people together, because the way we're looking at online models, like I was talking about before, online courses are changing, memberships are changing. We're going to have to be changing with that. And I think people still long for community more than ever because we're isolated more than ever. And so we're longing for that belonging and community and that safe space to just be where we need to be. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think honestly, I didn't even know this was a thing. I'm sorry, I'm reading
Oh, yeah, true. AI and data analytics can be leveraged to educate and certify nurses in specialties. It can also create entrepreneurial opportunities for nurses to consult and provide software as a service. Absolutely, 100%. Love that, Drew. Thank you so much. We need to get together and have some more conversations about that too. How we can help nurses be aware of those opportunities and how the NNBA can help facilitate those opportunities. We have a lot of interest in that. Go ahead, Casey. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. I think it was something that I didn't even really know existed until the last couple months, just getting involved in the NNBA. I mean, I've talked to several people like Audrey from Pivot Path works with Ruby, and that's kind of what they do. And I just spoke to somebody, Jen, yesterday from Alaska. She's with Nurses for Nurses. And I think it's what we're trying to do is collaborate so that, because there's going to be people that I can't reach, you can't reach, NNBA can't reach, but maybe Pivot Path, well, it'd be Ruby, but Ruby or Nurses for Nurses could reach. And I think that's really important because there's a lot of people that need that support. Jen was telling me yesterday, she's in Alaska. She's like, it's really hard for me to connect with people like nurses or just anybody. It's like so isolated. So I think that's really important, and having people that can encourage you. Like, I don't know that I ever would have known about being a nurse entrepreneur if you didn't do it, you know, and I think just removing the scarcity mindset that like there's multiple options for this, and just remembering that like every person can reach somebody else, and
Yeah.
we're all looking for
Wonderful.
connections on a human level and a nurse level. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I think that's great. Just being a people person, to me, that's very exciting.
Awesome. I had a couple honorable mentions that didn't make our 5 and 5, but in-person events. I had the Nurses Making Waves retreat a couple years ago. That was super fun. These in-person events, these luxury retreats, wellness retreats, nurse cruises, nurse masterminds, nurse, weekends, whatever it is, these are still hot right now, and they're gonna remain that way because people love the experience, and it's back to that community support. You get in person, face to face time to not only connect but to re-energize your business or your life or your health or whatever the focus of that is. I think that's going to be huge. And then I see a lot of nurses and products. I see nurses patenting things and coming up with improvements to to healthcare, and I think that's exciting. I am excited to continue seeing that. I do think that is really challenging, and that's something that needs to be improved. The access for nurses to provide products and services to healthcare organizations. It frustrates me to see the barriers that are there. You have to be really, really persistent to make that work. And so I'm so encouraged when I see nurses doing that. And then policy reform and politics. Oh my gosh, that makes my skin crawl. But there are nurses who are really good at this and who know what needs to happen and who know how to speak and how to present themselves in the way that they need to, and how to read a 1700 page bill and see what it says. I'm not one of those people, but thank goodness there are people like that. And I'm so excited and so refreshed when I see nurses who are advocating for nursing, who are advocating for the profession, and for nurses in business, and for nurse inventors, and for nurse innovators at the political level, because I do think that's a need for us to be represented, for there to be more awareness around the issues in healthcare that we are stepping up and solving as business owners. And I really want to see more of that. So that's something I hope to see more of in 2025. Any others you want to add as honorable mentions, or anything that you saw that we didn't talk about?
No, I think we pretty much covered. I mean, I think there's just so many options. I don't even think we could put them all in this. Like, I've seen super, super specific things that people are doing that I think are really cool. But
Yeah, me too. What kind of events have you seen or heard of that were interesting to you? I'm a sucker. Every event is interesting to me. I would do them all if I could travel that much. I really like the retreat style of like the business focus. I really enjoy that. And Casey and I are working behind the scenes to get some in-person NNBA events on the schedule for 2025. I'm super excited about that. So more to come on that. Keep your eyes open. But I like these small, intimate feeling retreats. I think we had, how many did we have at the retreat in Hawaii? 14?
14 or 14 to
14 in the
15, yeah.
sisters. I had 14 in the sisters, I think, is what we ended up with. 14 nurses, and Casey and Sam came and facilitated the food and the conversation, so I didn't have to. And it was amazing. It went really, could not have gone better, really, for my first in-person event. But it had a super intimate feel. We had a lot of just fun and laughter and conversation. And then I feel like it's a no pressure environment for the most part when you're kind of in that, like, we're here, we're just hanging out, we're talking, we're learning through processing, we're getting information, things like that. So I think I like that. That appeals to me. I know I've seen a lot of writing retreats, a lot of consulting type of, I think Lori Brown has a LNC retreat coming up. You can look for those on the NNBA calendar too. And I would encourage you, if you're a member, to put your events on that calendar so that we can advertise them for you. Because if you have events coming up, we want people to know about that. We want to see that calendar absolutely covered. So if you're not putting those events on that calendar, I'm going to drop this in the chat right here. If you have an event of any kind, we want it to be on that calendar. We want to be able to get that out there to people. And I'm going to put it right here on the screen too. So we've got this calendar. We want you to add your events to it. It is for members. Oh, this is the membership. I put the wrong one, of course. You would like to be a member
too.
If you would like to be a member, you can click there. If you'd like to put something on a calendar, let's try this again. Let's see. Let's put the right.
I have been really encouraging people to do that too. A lot of people have reached out and been like, I want more involvement. Like I want to be more involved with like other NNBA members. And I'm hosting this thing. I'm like, put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
What could it hurt?
We want you to be more involved. We want you to have more eyes on your events. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So utilize that calendar for that, please. And if you're not a member, here's the membership information. So we would love for you to become a member. We are really working hard on making sure that value is there for you as a member. Our members get $100 off of the conference, and the membership is only $169. So you get $100 off the conference, plus you get the online business training center resources, which has marketing, business plans, business startup, tons of different types of topics for you to build your business, grow a business. And then we've got the networking side. We really want to encourage our members to be able to rely on each other, to have that sense of community. And that is an aspect that we are really building out and looking at for 2025 as well. So we definitely would love to have you as a member. Anything else you've got, Casey?
I think we pretty much covered it. I'm very excited and happy to meet the new members, and I've been learning so much about all the people that I've, gotten to reach out to. I'm just excited. I can't wait to see everybody face to face.
Yeah, me too. I'm super excited about the conference. I'm going to do a recap really quick before we get off here. So 2024 look back. Number 1, independent contractor. Number 2, agencies, whether that be home health, home care, hospice, or staffing agency. Coaching, advocacy, functional medicine, holistic, life coaching, nurse coaching. Number 4, independent practice, GLP-1, holistic telehealth and telemedicine, primary care, family care. And then number 5 was content creation. So that could be an influencer, that could be nurse writers. I see a lot of nurse writers doing really well. So that was our 2024 trends recap. And going into 2025, we think all those are going to continue. We don't see those slowing down, especially the coaching, independent contracting, and content creation, independent practice. Those aren't going anywhere. 2025, we see a continuance of the consulting model, whether that be education, compliance, safety, infection control, limitless data and analytics, limitless consulting opportunities, AI and tech, apps and digital services, data analytics and metrics, and peer support communities. Those are our top 5. So 1, consulting, 2, AI and tech, 3, apps and digital services, 4, data analytics and metrics, and 5, peer support communities. Those are what we see continuing to grow and go forward in 2025. So what do you think about our predictions? Are we way off? What's our predictions from you guys? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? So we would love to hear from you. Thank you, Drew. Thanks for joining. Glad to have you on here. And we'd love to have you as a member of the NNBA. So you can join us here at nursesbusiness.com.